It's me, and I'm in Seattle. Wait until I show you the cool stuff that people brought me. Art, antiques, collectibles, coming up. How did we acquire this? So, do I like this is really the question. To whom does this belong? Hi, how are you?
Good.
What's your first name?
Ken.
How many years married, Ken? Tell me. 49. The other day was 49.
Yes.
Do you remember the day you got married?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember what was the weather like?
The weather was nice.
Was her father happy?
Yes.
That's really the telltale of a good marriage, right? Does dad like this guy? You know, that's nice. How'd you acquire this? Whole bag was only $2, so it was like a whole. It was sort of like a grab bag, a lot of all of these, and that was in there. Did you test the metal? I'm not really sure. It's got this little element right here, which looks like a coin. You see this little element? Did you put your loop onto this? I did not, because I was busy. I didn't do this. Gosh, Dr. Lori didn't have it. This is a dime. This has the elements in the back. This is actually a dime. It's very, very, very worn, but you can see actually the mint marks of the dime here. And you're going, you could see that just with that? I see 50,000 objects a year. So yeah, I'm going to recognize even a very old, a worn dime. This particular piece is a base metal, and then it actually has a silver plating on top of it. The piece is probably made sometime in the 1970s. You see this little hook right here, this little hook clasp, about a 1970s design, and value on this piece, which is going to hit right around here. So 24 inches, well, 30 inches, 24 inches, 22 inches, 20 inches, 18 inches, 16 inches, right? This is going to hit about 18 inches. Value on this piece, just about $100.
Okay.
Not bad for the jewelry bag. How did we acquire this? Oh my gosh! You can actually see that the pastel has not started to flake. Usually over time, pastels will flake. Okay, so there was some residue because of its age. Okay, but you did a very nice job in taking it apart and cleaning the glass. The glass also has space in between the glass and the piece, which is why the piece has also stayed in good condition. Because if she didn't clean the glass, and in fact that pastel was right up against the glass, kissing the glass, you would not have the same sharp, fresh representation of this object, the woman with the turban, that you would typically see. So you did a great job here. What do you know about the artist? Kind of a famous artist? What's a kind of a famous artist? She has works of art in major museums. She has works of art in public collections and private collections. And she does this kind of stuff, sort of that what's called a chiaroscuro, where something comes out of the darkness into the light. This actually goes back to the Italian Baroque, but she, of course, is working in the 20th century in California. Kind of famous, kind of has some background. And how big is this piece? So again, you're probably looking at, oh, I would say probably 28, maybe by 22. It's pretty good size. Value on this piece, based on her sales records, about $350 for this one. What'd you pay at the thrift store? $5. And I bet nobody wanted it, nobody cared, right? No, that's beautiful. Good for you. I like that. Hi, how are you? I'm good. They're going to get you a microphone, and I'm going to turn this around. Oh, my God. Lift with your knees, Lori. How'd you acquire this? Mother had it, then it came to you?
Yes.
Okay. What do we know about it? What does that mean, cold cast or hot cast? Heat it up, or is it allowed to cool down? Well, this is the way you're throwing around words you're not sure. Right? I like you to be sure. This piece is cast. This piece is cold cast.
Okay.
This piece has a beautiful patination, which has been worn off because it might have been outside for a time. Was it in a garage? Was it in a basement? Where was it? I think it was in the garage. Have I been in your garage? How the heck do I know where the object's been? Guess how? Right? Years and years and years of looking at it.
Right.
So this is where the patina, or the coloration that goes on top of a piece of cast metal, will deteriorate.
Okay.
You don't want to live out in the weather. You see all the SPCA things about the animals. Oh, help an animal. They're out in the cold. They're terrible. Yeah, it's terrible to be out. And if you're an object, it's similar. It's not as bad as, of course, what has to happen to those animals. I feel bad for them. Yes, I want to rescue all of them, especially those cute little dogs. And they pick the ones that you're really going to feel bad. You're like, oh, God, look at that poor thing. I probably could put them in the laundry room and feed them. So it breaks your heart. Same thing with this kind of deal.
Okay.
Worse, 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 worse for the pets. But this particular thing has been outside, and you can see what weather will do.
Right.
Okay? Even if it's enclosed shed. right? It's still going to do some damage. It's nice, it's heavy, it's big. It's representative of a very famous Baroque equestrian sculpture from Italy. It's a reproduction of that. It dates to the late 19th century. Value on this piece, about $300 in this condition, about $600 in good condition.
All right,
All right,
thank you.
let's talk glass. I've got these, crystal, pieces, probably Baccarat, but I can't see it. So Roxanne, how'd you acquire these? What made you buy them? So it's like 3 and 3 if you're going to tablescape. I know tablescape. I invite no one over. Don't come, I'm very busy. I don't want to entertain you. Right? But tablescaping is big for people who care about this. It says Tiffany and Company on it. Does that mean they're made by Tiffany and Company? So you have 3 of these and you have 3 more. Okay. So Tiffany and Company, right? Crystal. You've got this set of 3 and another set of 3. $20 for all of them. Do they all say Tiffany and Company? They all say Tiffany and Company. Were they made by Tiffany and Company? This is important for you. This is where you guys all get mixed up. And you go, God, Dr. Lori, I don't know. I don't understand. I thought it says Tiffany and Company. Are they made by Tiffany and Company? No. That's a distribution mark. They're made for Tiffany and Company. Tiffany and Company is acting as the store that's going to distribute them or sell them. Don't get those marks mixed up, right? These particular pieces, while Tiffany could do it, they could make them, they didn't make these. These are probably made in Poland. They're very nice, of course, crystal. How much do you think they're worth for all of them? The Tiffany name is still going to help you, but not as much as if they were made by Tiffany. How much do you think they're worth? For all 6, because they're 2 sets of 3. You know, they're on the mantle. They go on either side of the mantle or either side of the dining room table. Take a guess. What did you pay?
20.
You paid 20, and you're saying all 6 at 125. Is that too low? What do you folks think? It's too low. It's totally too low. $250 for both sets, 3 and 3. $250. Tiffany's going to drive it for those people who don't know about distributors' marks. But you need to know that. Okay, we did that, we did that, we did that. How about this piece of glass? What have we got? Why do you know that?
Because it's signed.
Oh, that helps. Oh, it says it right on it. Okay. How do you know that's an authentic signature? Oh, seems right. So you think the groups are right. You think the Murano thing is right. You think that, you know, maybe you're crossing fingers. But you're not still confident that any of those people are correct. I know. Everybody says that's what I want to bring to you, Dr. Lori. I know you're the end-all, be-all, Allah. I know.
No, I do think it's Murano. I think it's Murano.
Okay. I want you to be careful with respect to relying only on all these other people. Because, for example, the people in the groups, for example. Who's in the group that has skills, and what kind of skills do they have? What are their credentials? Okay. So you would... He's Italian, so you think he has more skills than someone who's not Italian. He could make better glass than I. You would think he would know the signature, so you would think so.
Yeah.
Not sure. Still not sure. Okay. And then you've compared the signatures. Could the signatures be faked?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, and it's a very easy way to do it. They actually use the same kind of tool that they would use to give you an actual tattoo. They do the same thing, right? They just engrave it in. It hurts more with the tattoo, I would think, right? Okay, so you have this. This happens to be an authentic signature. It is. What are the other characteristics that you'd look for if you didn't have the signature? The evenness here. So that this is the same thickness all the way around? Is it really the same thickness from here to here?
No, I was
is
in
it
the bubble spread.
Okay, you're talking about the design. Let's talk about this in parts. I'll go to your part first. So you're saying there's an even pattern of the way the actual bubbles come in and the way the gold is actually applied, right? The gold is a telltale sign of Murano. One of the other telltale signs of Murano actually is the thickness here. This one is not as thick here as it is here, which is about actually when they're actually blowing the piece, relatively difficult to do. It's darn close. And most people would say it's fine, but there are a lot of people who would say, well, this isn't going to be for our high-end collectors. This is going to go for these other people. So that's interesting too. I also like this, right? That thumbprint thing, very, very nice. And I like, of course, the shape and the size. How big is it? Probably somewhere in the 6.5 time, because my hand's kind of big, so I'd say 6.5 deal. Value on that piece, what do you think it's worth? You did your research. What's the market going to bear? 150? Okay, you got it for 4. Value on this particular piece is about 175. What have we got here? How'd you acquire it? Hi, sweetie, what have you got? Okay, you have a cradle board, and of course, Child goes here. Lovely leather, hand beaded. How long have you had it? It's worth $850. And definitely Pacific Northwest, coastal Native Americans. The unicorns are always indicative of the other world. We're moving from this world to the other world. But 800, 850 all day, every day, it dates to about 1920.